Hello. Today is Monday, August 20th, and it's about 8:30 at night. Excuse the way I look, I'm breaking out and I'm just a hot mess right now. And also, I wanted to say I'm sorry it's been a little bit longer than I wanted for me to do this video. I've just had a busy couple of weeks. But just a little bit of an update for you guys, just to let you know what's happened. Last video I did, I had just gone in for my day 3 labs, which included different hormone levels, my thyroid, and then a Hep panel with HIV as well. The Hep B and C with the HIV is something that's required to do before you go through IVF. But the rest of it was diagnostic. Like I said, thyroid panel, and then a long list of hormones that they wanted to check. And then I was just waiting to go in for what they call a trial transfer, and also to have an HSG, which is kind of like an x-ray. And I'll go more into that in a little bit. My cat Bandit is hanging out with us today. He likes to explore the shower. I might have to get up too to let him out of the bathroom if he decides he doesn't want to be in here anymore. But, so yes, so over a week ago, I went in for my appointment with my doctor and had the trial transfer done, which was really not that big of a deal. They did tell me I had to go in with a full bladder, and they explained to me why when I was there. So I guess, according to my doctor, the uterus is normally shaped like a U, and so what having a full bladder does is kind of, it pushes your bladder and flattens it out a little bit, and it makes it easier if you're transferring embryos to kind of see what you're doing. And really the trial transfer was nothing more than him measuring my uterus, and recording those measurements for further reference, for future reference. And it's not a problem for me to have a full bladder. It doesn't take much, but I will tell you it was very uncomfortable because the nurse, it's ultrasound guided, the trial transfer. So, my doctor is doing his thing, at my end, and then the nurse that's with him assisting has an ultrasound probe that she is pushing down on my full bladder with so that he can get his measurements. So I've never had to pee more in my entire life, but I got an A, and he said that if I can have a full bladder like that when we go to have an embryo transfer, that we'll be in really good shape. So at least I know, in the future what that needs to feel like when we go in. And he said that, he took a look while he was in there. He said everything looked fine, and he took down his measurements of my uterus, and at that point he had me go to the restroom and void my bladder, and they, while I was there, did a pregnancy test just to be sure, because like I said, the HSG is it's an x-ray, so it they don't want you to have an x-ray done if you are, by some miracle chance pregnant. So I had to sit in the x-ray room for like 20 minutes waiting for that to come back, and of course that was negative. So for the HSG, my nurse coordinator recommended to me that I take 3 ibuprofen about 45 minutes before the appointment, which I forgot, but I wasn't that worried about it. However, I did have somebody reach out to me that I know from high school that has had an HSG done, who told me that it, for her, was excruciatingly painful. And that was because her fallopian tubes were blocked. So what an HSG is, and I don't know what that acronym stands for. I can't pronounce it. It's, a word that's, literally this long. But what it does is it checks to make sure that your fallopian tubes are open and not blocked, or partially blocked or anything like that. So how they do this is I guess inject, I'm not really sure if that's the right word or not, but they place a dye into your uterus or cervix, and through x-ray imaging make sure that that dye travels from your uterus up through your fallopian tubes and to your ovaries. And they take pictures while they do this. And I had some questions for my doctor that were job related, as far as things that were safe for me to be doing at work and not safe. So he was very sweet, and he said, well, this can be a little uncomfortable, so why don't you ask me while I'm doing it? And then that way, hopefully, it will distract you. And it was uncomfortable. That being said, though, it was only maybe a minute or two of pretty severe discomfort. And then after that, it's done, and he takes his stuff out, and you're fine. And they go over it with you right then and there, which I thought was really great. You don't have to wait for anything. They gave me this really handy dandy picture, which I'm sure some of you may have seen either on my Instagram or my Facebook. I thought about waiting to show this and post it for this video, but I was just too excited. Basically, if you look at this picture, this is my uterus, and this little thing over here is one of my ovaries, and then the other ovary is, on this side. But anyway, long story short, everything looked fine. I wasn't blocked. Both of my fallopian tubes are open, which is great news. Just means one more thing to check off that list. And then he asked if my nurse coordinator had gone over my blood work results with me, which she had not. No fault of her own. I'm pretty sure she did call. I saw the number come up on my phone, but I was at work, and they probably are not allowed to leave results like that on a voicemail. So, and I knew I was going to have this, appointment with my doctor, so I wasn't that worried. I knew that I would have a chance to ask him about it when I was there. So he had his, fancy tablet that doctors have now, and he went over each individual test and said, this is what the range is, this is where you are, and every single one was normal. So my hormone levels are fine. I know, bud. And everything was negative that needed to be negative. So it was really good news. And so my next question for my doctor was, okay, so now what? What is the next step in our process? And he said that really the only thing he was waiting on at this point was for Derek to go in for a second semen analysis. And the reason for that is Derek had his blood work done at our first initial consultation, and everything had come back perfectly normal. His hormones were fine, and so our doctor had advised us that he wanted to have another semen analysis performed just to make sure that his low motility was trending and it was in fact real, so that it wasn't like a one-time fluke, which I understood. Maybe it's because I work at a vet clinic and I understand the reasoning behind that, but Derek had a little trouble wrapping his mind around it. He thought maybe it was just some weird ploy to get more money, which I don't think could be more, far from the truth. That semen analysis, especially with our insurance coverage, is a completely doable expense, whereas my last visit, where I had my HSG and trial transfer done, was the biggest expense we've incurred so far. I don't really want to get into specifics because I think it's, nobody, I mean, I know that people are curious and want to know, but, it's not really necessary. But like I said, thank God for our insurance, because it cut that bill in half for me. And like I said in my last video, we got our financing figured out, so it's not really a worry for us right now. And also Derek was struggling with making that appointment for the second analysis because he was still on a 90-day probation period with his work, and he didn't want to ruffle any feathers or, cause any trouble. So, he's over that 90-day probationary period now, so he is able to take the time off because unfortunately with the hours at the clinic and how, you can't just, do that at home and take it to the clinic. You have to do it there because of the distance that we live away from the clinic. And where he works and all of, the logistics that go into scheduling it, he wasn't able to take like a morning or an afternoon off. That was like he would have to take a whole day for literally something that would take him, just a few minutes to do. So, but like I said, he's over that 90-day probationary period now. So he was able to schedule some time off to go and do the second analysis. So he has an appointment the day after Labor Day to go and do that. So, so again, I'm going on and on, but if that analysis shows a low motility trend and it's similar to what the results were the first time, our doctor is going to recommend him to a urologist. And the way he explained it to us was, now that we know that there's no hormonal imbalances causing his low motility, it may be an anatomical, problem that may be able to be fixed. So by going to the urologist, we may be able to figure it out. So like I said, I think in one of my previous videos, there's like a 1% chance that we may not have to go through IVF, but it's still looking like that will be the case for us. So right now, as far as our appointments and our fertility journey in IVF, we are kind of at a standstill until we get those results back. So it may be a while before I'm able to do my next video. So I just ask for your patience and know that I will be thinking about my next video and what I'm going to talk about. But I probably, like I said, won't do another one until we get those sperm analysis results back from his second test. So it's going to be a shorter video tonight. I know everybody's been asking me when I'm going to post another one. But I did want to, touch on the fact, something that I'm so thankful for, and I don't talk about it enough. All right, Bandit, I think you gotta go down, bud. One thing that I'm so thankful for and that I want people to know about our fertility journey specifically is how thankful I am for the strength of my marriage with my husband, Derek. He has been such a trooper through all of this and has been such a great support. It really, this whole fertility journey that we've been on for the last couple of years has really tested us, and especially moving forward with the last couple months of our appointments and consultations and stuff like that. Marriages that maybe aren't as strong or maybe have a weaker foundation may not make it to this point or through the process. And I see people that are struggling in their marriage, and even if we weren't going through this fertility journey, he is such a blessing to me, and I can't say how much I love and appreciate him. I'm also thankful for all of my fur babies, especially this one. He's my cuddle bug. He's the one that gives me so much comfort when I need it. Our new puppy's amazing, and he's been another incredible blessing and distraction through this whole process. So yeah, unfortunately I don't have anything more exciting to talk about today. But again, if anybody has any questions for me or even for Derek, I may try to get him in on one of these videos to kind of get his perspective, because you don't really hear about a lot of it from men. So I think maybe that would be an interesting thing to include. If anybody has any questions or things that they are curious about, things they want me to touch on in my next video, I'm totally open to hearing suggestions. Feel free to reach out to me if you have my number, or you can reach me through Facebook Messenger or Instagram, things like that. I should have all of that information on my info in my YouTube page. So thank you everybody for watching. This is my 4th video now, can you believe it? And I hope everybody has a wonderful evening and a great week. Until next time, bye-bye.